Father Vitale, who has come to Iowa from Oakland, California, is our speaker tonight, and he's the founder of Pace Bene, which was founded in 1989. It's an extraordinary organization that reaches nationally and internationally to spread nonviolence as a way of life. My name is Jeffrey Weiss, and I work with the American Friends Service Committee, and I welcome you tonight.
I gotta find a way to edit that, like cut it off about, or maybe the one about Gandhi. I have one of those, one of those T-shirts with a picture of Gandhi, another bald head for peace. Sometimes, but it was a little too cold out here tonight. Thank you all very much for inviting me. I'm very impressed with a lot that's going on here. Jeff was just telling me about having people here and having this group that works with dialogue with Iran, because that is so important. Over and over, you see it's in the crosshairs. We can't seem to escape our fascination with Iran and seeing it as a specter. That's the one that we always have to have someone that we can fear and we can stigmatize and therefore get out some of our frustrations on. And this is a group that went. There's a couple of people in there that were guides and so forth, but that's basically our troop, and off we went to Iran with that sign. Our goal was peace with Iran. And as you saw in the very initial slide, where it talked about acts of friendship, we went with that motto that right after 9/11, President Bush talked about the axis of evil that we have to watch out for, the axis of evil. Very tough existence living in Iran and in the Middle East in these days, trying to survive. Right near us, there was and we were in Tehran right in the beginning. David and I were walking down towards the university, but we had a scheduled bus, and so we started heading back, and we found out later that there was a demonstration there, and they arrested like 34 people and put them in jail. I said, how terrible, my God, what an oppressive country. They arrested people in a demonstration and put them in jail. Can you imagine that, Frank Cordero? Said, yeah, we have people that happens to all the time. So, you know, it's not so terribly different, but there are some very terrible things that go on. They insist it is against the Quran because any weapon of mass destruction will kill civilians. And it is absolutely against their scriptures, the Quran. When 9/11 happened, almost every imam I talked to and scholars, real scholars of the Quran, insisted that no known active Muslim could do that because of the killing of innocent people. And they would go to hell. They're absolutely convinced that anybody who did that would go to hell. I don't believe that. My theology, whatever it is, says that we don't know what's on somebody's mind. We don't know what happens between then and the time they die. We don't know really what motivated them to do what they did, and just to say automatically they're going to go to hell. But they would insist that they would. So how did that happen? Well, anyway, they are not making nuclear weapons. But one could kind of understand it if you were in Iran and you're surrounded with all these nuclear powers around here. So you're surrounded, there's Russia right at your back door with 8,500 in-place weapons. USA with 7,000 that can reach them. China, 420, France, 350, UK. Israel, something like 200 nuclear weapons. Constantly threatening Iran, constantly threatening to use them against Iran if they even make one, step further towards making the kind of fuel you need for a nuclear weapon. So then there's North Korea that just used a missile and has nuclear weapons too. Yes, Iran is accused by the U.S. of ambitions to build nuclear arms. So we found people insisting that there was no such intention, but they are trying to maintain a rather strong front at the same time. The president is not the supreme leader. The supreme system in Iran is Muslim, is Islam. And there's a Supreme Council that, like our Supreme Court, that overrides the Congress and Parliament and everything else. And there's a supreme leader of that. And they make really kind of the final decisions. That just short of the Nevada test site in Nevada is Creech Air Force Base and that we found these strange planes flying in the sky there in Nevada. And there, as you see, there's no glass on the front cockpit there because there's nobody in the plane. And they originally were for surveillance, but of course the surveillance called in other planes and so forth. But then they equipped them with weapons, and the earlier model, a much smaller one than this, the Predator, has dropped many Hellfire missiles. We are so concerned about torture, but we can read about Hellfire missiles coming through somebody's house and blowing up the people in the house and not seem to be as concerned, which is a far more drastic. In one case in Pakistan, they blew up a school with 80 children in it. It was on the Afghanistan-Pakistan border there. So we were out there protesting. Brian's here, and Terrell, and as was said, Jeff said in the beginning, we were there for all week. I guess about 10 days, I don't know, something like 10 days out there. And then the week kind of ended. Well, we had these signs, "Round the drones, lest we reap the whirlwind." But we were then arrested and taken downtown in Clark County in Nevada, right in the middle of Jingletown there, and with all the other people, and that was kind of the end of that for a while. So we will be going out there again. We're very concerned about what went on there, and we want to keep that campaign up. And also, we are concerned about the fact that we do get this test ban through, so that we don't start a whole new generation of nuclear weapons. Iran is a signer of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. That's why they have the right to develop nuclear energy, and they are perfectly within their rights to doing that. But if we could work together towards a test ban, but in order to live up to the Non-Proliferation Treaty, countries like Iran are not supposed to develop nuclear weapons, and countries like our own are to not develop any new ones and to get rid of the ones that we have. And we're doing just the opposite. So it's really a big concern.